The Kardashians film and photograph their entire lives for the world to see. You probably think you know everything there is to know about Kim, Khloe, Kourtney, and the rest of the crew, but there are a few juicy secrets that they've tried their best to hide and cover up. We hope you're ready because we're about to expose some bombshells like how they really feel about Blac Chyna and Baby Dream, so stay tuned. If this is your first time visiting our channel, don't forget to subscribe and please give this video a big thumbs up. Today we'll be sharing 10 secrets the Kardashians don't want you to know. The fake Jenner home. If you're a fan of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, you've probably noticed the sprawling mansion that's shown in many of the episodes. The home is labeled as the Jenner house, and that's not entirely true. In fact, the home isn't owned by anyone in the family, and the family has probably never even stepped foot inside the house. For security measures, none of the family's real homes are filmed. Instead, the show takes exterior shots of the fake Jenner house, which is 20 miles from where they actually reside. It's not too surprising that the house they claim is theirs really isn't, and we can't blame the family for maintaining a bit of privacy in their lives. With Kim's Paris robbery ordeal, we're sure they want to be as secretive as possible to protect themselves at all costs. Can you imagine what would happen if they filmed the outside of their actual home? We're sure there would be fans lined up out front at all hours of the day just to catch a glimpse of Kris, Kim, and the rest of the family. The exterior home was put on the market for over $8 million, so if you have the funds, you can actually purchase a piece of reality TV history. Major allegations. The Kardashians have their fair share of ups and downs just like any other family. But at the end of the day, they all have each other's backs and you can just feel the love they have for one another every time you watch the reality show. But one person isn't so convinced that the Kardashians are as lovey-dovey as they appear to be on TV. Before he passed away, Robert Kardashian Sr. was married to a woman named Ellen. Years after his death, Ellen revealed she had stumbled across some of Rob Sr.'s personal journals where he detailed his life with Kris and his kids. Rob allegedly spilled all the juicy details about the family's hidden troubles. According to Ellen, Kris wasn't always kind to Kim and Kourtney when they were little girls. Rob Sr. painted her as a very angry mom. The journals also reportedly revealed that Rob Sr. wasn't the biological dad of Khloe, and it spilled all the details about Kris cheating on Rob during their marriage. Whether the claims are true or not, the Kardashians have tried hard to silence Ellen and her allegations. We are very excited to show you our new platform, The Premium. Get early access to thousands of videos from your favorite channels, including The Taco, The Things, The Trendy, and The Richest. It's all in one place with ad-free browsing. Sign up to The Premium for free by clicking the link in the description and get ready to binge watch just one more video. Kris's failed talk show. Back in 2013, Kris Jenner was given the chance to host her very own talk show. Fox television station gave her 6 weeks to show off her stuff, and if things went well, she would be given the chance to film a whole season's worth of shows. When the show was canceled a month after it was aired, many people wondered what went wrong. Kris had everything that would have made her show successful, from her Kardashian connections to her surprise guests like Kanye West. But a senior vice president of the station revealed the reason why the show wasn't picked up after its test run is because Kris was uninteresting on camera. This sounds pretty crazy considering Kris spends the majority of her life in front of cameras on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but apparently being on her own in front of a large audience wasn't really her cup of tea. The Fox executive said when the cameras were filming, Kris didn't just look like a deer in the headlights, she looked like a deer that had already been hit. He said the mother of 6 was a very hard worker and she did get a little bit better as the show progressed, but in the end, the ratings weren't that great, so they were forced to cancel the program. Kim's emotions. By now, you've probably seen Kim's infamous ugly cry face more times than you care to remember, but Kim has really been a good sport about the way she looks when her emotions get the best of her. She even has her cry face as one of the emojis in her mobile app, and her tear-stained face is also featured on an air freshener that's hanging in one of her cars. But maybe the reason why Kim isn't upset that people continue to make fun of her out-of-control emotions is because it's all fake. Could Kim actually be faking her tears? Well, the answer is yes if you actually believe this dark hidden secret. Reports suggest when Kim gets all worked up and starts crying on camera, she has a little bit of help to get the tears flowing. She allegedly uses something called a tear stick to help her bawl her eyes out. A tear stick is something that has been used on the sets of movies and television shows for years. It's a waxy substance made of menthol and camphor extracts that help to generate natural tears. You simply apply the wax underneath each eye, and the warmth from your skin releases vapors that rise to the eyes and causes tears to form. Considering some of the scenes on the show have been accused of being staged, it's really no surprise that Kim's emotions might be staged too. Bribes. There seems to be two different groups of people in the world. There's one group who loves and supports the Kardashians and everything they do, and another group that despises the entire family. Whether you're a fan of them or not, you have to admit that they've been able to grow a massive empire and stretch their 15 minutes of fame longer than anyone could have ever imagined. Even though they run their own companies and they have an endless flow of product endorsements, not everyone is going to be a fan of the family and support their endeavors. One journalist found this out the hard way when she wrote an honest review of Kris Jenner's talk show. She wrote a column for the New York Post and included a pretty harsh review of Kris's now cancelled talk show. When Kris found out about the review, she tried to bribe the writer by sending her a $325 pen. The pen came with a note from Kris that said she hoped the journalist would use the pen to write a much better review of her talk show in the future. The writer then blasted Kris by writing yet another article, this time telling the matriarch of the Kardashian family that she couldn't be bought, and especially not with a pricey pen. Kris Humphries wasn't the villain. Back in 2011, Kim was swept off her feet by basketball player Kris Humphries. After a whirlwind romance, the two tied the knot in a fairy tale wedding. But after they said their I do's, the cracks began to show in their marriage. Viewers watched in horror as Humphries was rude and condescending to Kim on camera. When she filed for divorce after just 72 days, no one was really surprised. In fact, most people applauded Kim for getting out of her marriage and getting away from her disrespectful husband. But do you want to hear something shocking? It turns out that Humphries actually wasn't the villain that he was portrayed to be on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. After Kim filed for divorce, she and Humphries battled it out in court and the truth finally came out. The basketball player claimed Kim deceived him and their whole marriage was a sham from start to finish. A producer of the show was also forced to testify and he dropped some major bombshells about how Humphries was used on the program. It was alleged that many of the scenes with Humphries were scripted, reshot, or edited to make him look like a horrible husband. In one scene where Kim was furious because Humphries had a party in their hotel room while she was out of town, the producer said it was all fake. Kim was actually in the hotel and knew about everything that was happening. She allegedly went along with it just to set Humphries up, so he'd look like a jerk just in time for their divorce proceedings. This is pretty hard to believe considering Kim is one of the sweetest and most kind celebs in Hollywood. The charity debate. Speaking of Kim's kindness, she's always given back to those in need ever since she became a superstar. She's always willing to lend a helping hand, even if it means giving a portion of her own money to those who are less fortunate. However, back in 2013, Kim's generosity was called into question during one of her eBay auctions. The reality TV star was selling a bunch of her old items on the auction website, and she promised to give a percentage of her proceeds to help the victims of the Philippines typhoon disaster. Many people felt misled by the wording of the auction, especially when it came down to the percentage that was going to be donated. Some people supported Kim's auction because they thought all the proceeds would go to the victims, but they soon found out that Kim was only donating 10% of the total sales. As you can imagine, the public felt misled, especially since Kim was worth an estimated $40 million at the time. One Twitter user demanded that she give at least 50% of her profit, but in the end, Kim didn't budge. We think it's great that she gave back no matter how much she donates. Every little bit counts, don't you agree? They never liked Blac Chyna. Once Rob started dating Blac Chyna, the Kardashian family was sent into a downward spiral. Chyna was the ex-girlfriend of Tyga, who was dating Kylie at the time. This caused a lot of confusion and drama for the entire family, and many of them questioned Chyna's intentions. Since Rob was in love and they wanted to support him, they did their best to embrace Chyna and welcome her into the family. She even posed for a cute picture with Kylie to eventually bring their feud to an end. But Rob and Chyna's relationship was full of many ups and downs. Every time they would break up, his family was there to help him through the emotional turmoil. In an episode of the show, Kim admitted she had always been super cool with Chyna, but she questioned her motives for wanting to be with Rob and start a family with him. She also admitted she didn't think their relationship was healthy at all. After the couple's social media breakup that occurred in July 2017, it was finally leaked that the Kardashians never really liked Chyna or Rob. The women in the family all warned him that Chyna wasn't the right girl for him, and they begged him to stay away from her. Major events are faked. Even though their show is considered reality television, some people are convinced that a lot of the scenes in the program are actually fake. It has since been proven that many scenes are heavily scripted, like the 2007 episode that showed Khloe getting arrested for a DUI. Khloe's DUI was real, but her arrest took place a few months before the show started filming. So the producers had her reenact the entire encounter for the reality TV cameras. Another scene that wasn't entirely real was Kim's engagement to Kris Humphries. Kim allegedly made the camera crew refilm the proposal twice because she didn't like the way her surprised face looked the first time. She also knew she was going to get engaged and she wanted the proposal to be perfect. She asked Kris to propose in the middle of the day so there would be better lighting for the camera. So even though she looked surprised when she walked into the room and saw Kris down on one knee, she knew all along every little thing that was going to happen. We doubt this makes fans of the show love the program any less, but the fact that their show isn't entirely real is a huge secret the Kardashians would love to keep a secret. They weren't happy about Dream. In November 2016, Blac Chyna gave birth to baby Dream, and it was such a happy time for the entire Kardashian family. Although they had their reservations about Chyna, they accepted Dream and loved her just like the other children in the family. But when Rob first told his sisters that Chyna was pregnant, they weren't happy about it at all. In an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Rob told his sisters that not only were he and Chyna engaged, but they had a baby on the way too. He didn't expect his sisters to be completely happy with the news, but he asked them to try their hardest to love Chyna and embrace her since she was going to be in their lives forever. While Kim and Kourtney remained calm during the entire conversation, Khloe couldn't help but let her emotions get the best of her. Viewers could see it in her eyes that she was extremely disappointed about the whole situation. On the show, Khloe said that she felt internally sad about the baby on the way. Both siblings are excited to learn that they're going to be an aunt or uncle, but not the Kardashians. They felt empty and crushed when they finally heard the news. Which of these explosive secrets about the Kardashians shocked you the most? React down below. And while you're at it, check out our friends at The Trendy to see more cool videos for teenagers. Thanks for watching!